Let's start this hour off with Prashanti, where the anchor is Nalini Bhat. Here she gets to share her true-to-heart stories on Satya Sai Baba. Let's see her presentation for this week.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. Today on Prashanti, we bring you one of the first overseas devotees of Shri Baba, Dr. John Hislop. Dr. Hislop, a spiritual giant and an illumined soul, came to Shri Baba in 1968. Baba once remarked that Lord Rama and Krishna were always searching for a perfect devotee. The avatar search for a perfect devotee ended perhaps with John Hislop coming to him.
Indra Devi, yoga teacher, told that there was a man in India who could change your life and your life would never change back again. That intrigued me. I had to certainly go there. We went. Swami came smiling with the big lustrous eyes, so graceful, walking across the room, not seeming to even touch the floor. My mind fastened on him. I lost the world entirely. I felt in my heart a little movement, like a butterfly's wings, a sensation of love. I realized, this is this man, Swami, in my heart, as love. I said to myself, who is this stranger who, without invitation from me, can come into my heart as love? Could only be God. At that instance, I recognized Swami as God. No matter if the entire world turned against Swami tomorrow, it wouldn't affect me the slightest degree, because I know that directly, just as much as you know directly that you exist.
Dr. Hislop witnessed numerous miracles, including a grand vision of Lord Krishna. Let us watch one amazing manifestation by Shri Baba for Hislop when Baba created a crucifix which was made from the same wood on which Jesus was crucified 2000 years ago.
We were in India in the Bandipur forest at the time of Mahashivaratri, and Swami picked off 2 twigs and held them in the form of the cross, put the 2 twigs in his hand, and blew 3 times on his hand, and opened his hand, and there was this cross that you see here on the back of my hand. He said, this is Christ as he really and truly was, not as artists and historians have pictured him. And I said, well, Swami, what is that hole at the top of the cross? He said, that is the hole that was made in the cross to hang the cross on a standard. And he said, the wood of the cross is a piece of the actual cross upon which Christ was crucified. And he added, it took a little time and trouble to find a piece of that wood after some 2,000 years.
Later, when Hislop came back to America, he had the wood examined and found that the wood was indeed 20 centuries old. The enlarged pictures showed the minutest details like the sweat on the brow and also the froth at the corners of the mouth of Jesus. After Hislop's passing, the cross was sent to Prashanti Nilayam and it is on display at the museum in Puttaparthi. A perfect devotee that Dr. Hislop was, he not only practiced Baba's principles to the T, he also brought thousands of others onto the path of transformation through books, talks, and so on. His book, Conversations with Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba, is spiritual beacon light for those who are groping in the dark, because it records Shri Baba's answers to most complicated spiritual queries. When Hislop passed on, Shri Baba said, "He has come to me. He was a good man, always thinking of Swami and working for Swami." Can there be a better eulogy than that? Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
We're not content to just live in the world as human beings. You want to be something different, and that's the wish for you union with God. This separation between ourselves and God is Maya. Really, there's no separation at all. There's only God. What is real about us is the present moment. Right now is the only reality. The past is just an idea. The minute to come is just an anticipation. The human being lives in the split reality of the second. That split reality is divinity. At this moment, if we think of God, the power of our thinking is greater by far than the strength of the Maya that separates us from God. The strength of us disperses that Maya, and we will realize that there is no separation between God and ourselves.
Let's begin with Mrs. Nalini Bhat, who will showcase a very interesting story on Satya Sai Baba. Stay tuned.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. The Satya Sai Seva organization, founded in 1961, where the main aim was service, took on wings and spread to various countries, so much so that by 1968, the first World Conference of the Satya Sai Seva organization was held in Mumbai. This was a landmark event for, as Baba said, this was the first time in the history of the world that a world conference of the devotees was held in the immediate divine presence and under his supervision.
Professor Kasturi writes in Satyam Shivam Sundaram, Baba came in, showering the fresh petals of his gracious smile on all present. The sight of him emitting light and love thrilled and delighted every one of them. Baba called upon the delegates from each state to speak on the organizational aspect of sadhana. Judges, vice-chancellors, scientists, doctors, administrators presented reports of the activities of the Seva Samitis. Baba said in his discourse, I must tell you about my reality. Since I move with you, eat like you, and talk to you, you are deluded into the belief that this is but a human phenomenon. Since divinity is enveloped by humanness, you must endeavor to overcome the delusion. This human form is one in which every divine entity, every divine principle, all the names and forms ascribed by man to God are manifest. How fortunate you are that you can hear adoration to the name of Satya Sai reverberating from the nooks and corners of the world. This thrilling declaration stunned the delegates. During these world conferences, held every 5 years, literally all roads lead to Puttaparthi. Special trains, buses, scooters and cycles unload thousands at Prashanti Nilayam. Plane loads of foreigners alight at Bangalore and head for Parthi.
I welcome all delegates from 98 countries. Bhagwan declared at the first World Conference that I have resolved to enfold the people of the world in fostering care of universal love, for the world is my mansion, and the continents are the halls therein. I have come to inscribe a golden chapter in the history of humanity, wherein truth will triumph.
We are very fortunate indeed to be alive during the era of the Kali Yuga avatar, Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Who among men knows everything that we have thought, felt, said, done, and even dreamt? Who among men cannot be constrained by the laws of time and space, or matter and energy? Who can uplift the ignorant and the suffering with a glance, a smile, a touch, and only God knows how many other imperceptible ways? Who has given his life to the welfare of mankind so magnanimously and selflessly, always giving and forgiving? Who speaks the eternal truth spontaneously and with ultimate authority? Who among men can inspire pure, innocent love in the most cynical of hearts? The answers to these questions come from deep in my heart, and they compel me to affirm and proclaim, Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba is the Lord God.
This body has been given in order to perform action. Whatever action is done must be considered a service of the Lord. Action free from selfishness must be performed. This is the sacred secret behind all the service. Man should sanctify his life undertaking such service activity. This kind of great and correct attitude is visible only in Shri Satya Sai organizations.
In preparation for this, Satya Sai International Organizations holds pre-world conferences in many countries. The devotees study the teachings of Swami, practice them. There will be talks, workshops, exhibitions.
The Satya Sai Seva organization is doing such great service that the United Nations accorded it the consultative status. Let's watch.
Shri Satya Sai Central Trust has been accorded global recognition for its humanitarian works by United Nations.
The committee wishes to recommend that a special consultative status be granted to this organization.
It truly gives us a global stage to expand service activities all over the world so that we spread the love of Bhagavan, love for humanity, benefit entire mankind.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's kick off this hour with another beautiful story of Satya Sai Baba. This is written, directed, and hosted by beautiful herself, Nalini Bhat, who completes her 10 years of her telecast years on GTV. Stay tuned. Mrs. Bhat.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. Today on Prashanti, we are bringing you the Bal Vikas movement, which was launched by Baba in 1969. This episode is very close to my heart because as children we attended Bal Vikas and many great lessons of life were imprinted on our young minds through the loving guidance of Bal Vikas teachers, through bhajans, stories, and so on. We had the great good fortune of even performing a dandiya dance in front of Shri Baba. Baba envisioned Bal Vikas as the blossoming of the young minds because children are the future torch bearers. They are like tender saplings and they are seeds which need to be nurtured, fostered, and also cared for. And Bal Vikas does just that.
And teach them something. Bhajans, tell them some stories. These ladies got together and said, okay, how should we do? I was the prime target because I was the kid in my mother's house. So she said, go bring all your friends, I'm going to tell them stories. Once the Bal Vikas Swami said should become the part of the Satya Sai Seva Samiti, he said we should try to do this all over the state of Karnataka. He said to my mother, I will make you the state coordinator for Karnataka. My mother said, Swami, oh, if I go, who will take care of the thing? And I was sitting like this. Swami pointed, she is there, she will teach the class. I was only 14 and a half years old. So I said, how can I teach a class? These people are all my friends. Who's going to listen to me? So he said, no, When you become a teacher and you cross over to this side of the line, you become a guru. Your friends will learn to respect you when you are in that role. The onus of Swami's message falls on the adults in terms of practice. They will be watching what you're doing. Dr. Gokak was the first Vice Chancellor of Swami Satya Sai University. Shanta Divakar, Professor of Education. All these various people got together and formatted a curriculum. And with that came teachers' training. The people who were training had no training. Swami used to tell us as teachers, first and foremost, you try your very best to practice what you're telling the children, at least in their presence. Second thing is that go prepared. Don't go thinking it's only group 1, some story today I can tell the class will be over, it's only 1 hour. That is not acceptable because you have no business to waste 1 hour of 30 children, 30 into 1 hour of so much potential. Once you're a teacher all the time. You cannot say, the minute I come out of my class, I'm going to get into fight with the next lead singer. Because the children are watching you. Slowly, the boundaries become tighter.
The Bal Vikas movement started with human values as the core, the goal being to introduce children to their innate divinity. He took 5 teaching techniques like storytelling, prayer, group singing, meditation, and group activities.
5 fingers. When all the 5 fingers act together, you can hold the tumbler. Rear our children and see that they'll be ideal leaders of life.
The values of the head, heart, and the hand. He says, the moment the head prompts and the hand acts, the heart should concur whether this action is correct or not. The unique dimension of this particular class was that the teacher was called a Bal Vikas Guru. And Guru, as you know, is the one who dispels darkness. These were all simple men and women whose only qualification was love for Bhagwan. Lakhs and lakhs of children have gone through this, transformed, and they face happiness and sorrow with great poise. They know that their real friend is the master within themselves.
Who is God? Where is God? Truth is God. Love is God. Eat truth. Love is God. Live in love. Body is like a water bubble. Mind is like a mad monkey. Don't follow the mind. Don't follow the body. Follow the conscience.
Here we see Swami totally immersed in the kids' play. Originally, Bal Vikas was called Bal Vihar, meaning entertainment for kids. But later Baba changed the name to Bal Vikas, meaning blossoming of the children's minds. Indeed, a very apt title.
When we visualize a garden filled with beautiful blooms, fragrant with the highest of human values, we salute the divine gardener who raised such a garden and trained thousands of others such as himself. Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's hit the road off with Prashanti, which is one of a well-loved and liked segment on the Capital View. Hostess Mrs. Nalini Bhat, who is a devotee of Satya Sai Baba. Here she portrays gracious stories of this Guruji. Let's see her take for this week.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. The festival of Mahashivratri, the great auspicious night dedicated to Lord Shiva, is on March 11th this year. Shri Baba is an avatar of Shiva Shakti both. Hence, Prashanti Nilayam turned resplendent during Shivaratri, the highlight being the emergence of Lingam from Shri Baba's mouth. We bring you Shivaratri in 3 parts. The first one explains the significance of Shivaratri, and the next 2 will feature Lingodbhavam and also Vibhuti Abhishekam, which Shri Baba performed during Shivaratri. Baba has given a beautiful discourse in 2002 on the significance of Shivratri. Let's watch.
The entire universe is divine. Every living being is divine. God dwells in all of the beings in the form of the life principle. Ishvara, Lingam means sign. The very form of Linga represents the self. Ishvara is the master of various forms of wealth. Whatever that you come across in life, whatever that you touch is divine. The heart that directs, that points out everything. The heart is full of compassion. Ishvaratva represents the personification of compassion. Ishvaratva represents the harmony of the individual and the divine.
Shivaratri.
Shivaratri meaning auspicious night. Shiva, auspiciousness. Where from you get it? It is out of one's own breath. This breath stands for this word Soham that comes out of Atma, the self. This is called Hamsa Gayatri. Ham means I. So that God. Meaning is I am God. Noble human life you're spoiled. As is your wish, God blesses you. If you have bad thoughts and bad deeds, you will get the reaction. We should not make anyone suffer, not suffer for ourselves. That we should lead a happy, blissful life. Ishvara, the divine, moves about freely like air. Just as air is all pervasive, also God is all expansive. Therefore, you should propagate, practice the God's name and share with everybody.
Why is Shivratri so sacred? A legend explains it all. Let's watch.
Right from the 50s, Shivaratri has attracted large crowds to Prashanti Nilayam. Baba has explained the significance. During the month, the moon waxes and wanes, taking 15 days for each process. Shivaratri comes on the 14th day of the dark half of the month, when the moon is invisible. The moon is the presiding deity of the mind, the source of all the entangling desires and emotions. The mind is almost powerless this day. If only this night is spent in vigil, it can be fully conquered. So, every month, the 14th day of the dark half of the month is prescribed for more intense sadhana, and once a year, Mahashivaratri is laid down for the great consummation. The moon waxes and wanes once every month. There must be a Shivaratri every month. How come we do not celebrate each of these? There is a legend for that. Brahma and Vishnu were arguing over their relative supremacy. Their vain arguments were interrupted by a superluminous glow from a blazing pillar, its shape reminiscent of the linga. Both of them sped towards this indescribable flaming light, which grew into infinity, piercing the earth and extending through the heavens. The two gods decided to seek the beginning and the end of this burning immensity. Brahma, taking the form of a swan, flew upwards, and Vishnu dove down, acquiring the shape of a boar. Both the gods returned exhausted. At that moment, the central part of the pillar split open, and Shiva revealed himself in his full glory. Thunderous laughter, or the sound of Om, issued from the pillar, filling the sky. The scriptures say that strict austerities must be observed on the morning of Shivaratri. The devotees must fast and keep vigil throughout the night, meditating intensely on Lord Shiva. This has been the set pattern for devotees from aeons.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's push off with our very first presentation, which will be Prashanti, written, directed and hosted by a close friend of mine, Nalini Bhat. Here, Miss Bhat displays and relays lovely episodes of Shri Satya Sai Baba. Let's see her display for this week.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. Previously on Prashanti, we brought you the Shivaratri festival at Prashanti Nilayam. Today, we'll bring you the Lingodbhavam, or the emergence of Lingam from Baba's very being during Shivaratri. The lingams, which Baba referred to as the very seeds of creation, formed inside of him and emerged during Shivaratri through his mouth. This was a recurrent phenomenon every year on Shivaratri from 1947 to 1977. In 1977, Baba had to discontinue this because the crowds were too large and unmanageable. But out of compassion for his devotees, Sri Baba revived this practice of Lingodbhavam in 1999 and delighted the crowds with the manifestation of the golden lingam, or the Hiranyagarbha lingam.
The formless one is linga. Linga is the substratum. It just comes out. To melt it, you need fire, heat. The fire that melts it and molds it into linga form. It is the pain that you find as it emanates. We consider that Swami is suffering the pain because of the emergence of linga. The child, in order to come out of the womb of the mother has to suffer. Mother will never feel bad because of the suffering. Last 2 days, for this to emerge, the whole body of Bhagavan has turned into a magnet. That's the reason why wherever he lays his foot, it gets stuck up there. And to lift it, it's difficult. It's quite natural. The whole body is magnet. If it touches the tumbler, it will get stuck up. The divine magnet is present in every human being. Magnet is highly powerful. So everything is magnetic. If you follow the path of truth, you will get all the power of God.
Not just during Shivaratri, but Sri Baba manifested lingams at other times too. Many of them he gave away to the devotees to worship, while many of them simply disappeared back to the source. The lingam is symbolic of the birth in time and space of that which is formless and eternal. Baba has brought forth 11 lingams on one Shivaratri. Sometimes the lingams emerged along with the pedestal. The first Lingodbhavam was on Mahashivaratri of 1947, when a crystal lingam emerged from Baba's very being with a flash of brilliant ball of light. In 1974, a Jyotirlingam 10 inches in circumference containing within a trident-shaped flame emerged. The flame changed color every 10 minutes from orange to blue to colorless. Baba said, "The scriptures declare the Supreme One as splendorous and as effulgence. You have seen the splendor when the lingam emerged. You have seen the Jyoti in the lingam itself. No greater fortune can be yours. Live hereafter as befits the recipient of this rare grace." In 1991 at Whitefield, Baba materialized a golden Hiranyagarbha lingam. He said, "It is a spiritual heart containing the entire universe in a microscopic form. It could cure sick people. It's a great blessing for anyone to receive this photo." Many people have experienced amazing cures with this picture. In fact, a doctor devotee rubbed the photo against the chest of a dead child, and lo and behold, the child was revived. The photo can be downloaded from the internet on the following website. Baba's energy will work miracles through it. This is the gold Hiranyagarbha lingam, which emerged in 1999 when Baba resumed the Lingodbhavam, stopped in 1977. He declared, "Whoever has seen this lingam at the time of its emergence will not have rebirth." Amarnath lingam, which he teleported from Amarnath, is the true one installed by Shankaracharya, he said. "One has to walk 20 kilometers on snow to reach Amarnath. I brought it for your sake," said the compassionate Lord. Here are a few other kinds of lingams that Sri Baba manifested. Brahmanda lingam,
Spatika Lingam, Spherical Lingam, Lingam with Shirdi Sai image, and other lingams for the devotees. Baba says the formless divinity, the lingam, is in the very core of the heart of man as the sole purveyor of bliss, power and illumination. Cultivate an inward vision so that the lingam may grant you all three benefits. The mind will then be illumined by love like the cool, comforting rays of the moon.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's begin this hour off by shedding light on Prashanti. This will be moderated here on the screen of Fox 5 Plus by a gorgeous friend of mine, Nalini Bhat. Let's join her and her look into Satya Sai Baba.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. We have been talking about Shivaratri in the last two episodes. Today we'll bring you the significance of the holy ash or Vibhuti, which is associated with Lord Shiva. Both Shirdi Sai Baba and Puttaparthi Sai Baba have emphasized the importance of Vibhuti. Ash is obtained when things are burnt. Ash itself cannot be burnt anymore. This signifies the highest spiritual truth that the ultimate reality remains after the dross of ego is burnt away by the fire of illumination.
Baba sometimes performed the ceremonial bath for the silver figure of Shirdi Sai Baba, termed Vibhuti Abhishekam. It was an inexplicable wonder, delighting the crowds utterly. A small wooden pot, artistically carved and painted, was filled with Vibhuti for this purpose. Holding it overturned above the image, Baba put his hand into the vessel in order to ensure an even flow of sacred ash. As the crowds gasped in awe, Vibhuti cascaded onto the statue torrentially from the urn, which was big enough to hold probably 2 fistfuls of Vibhuti. If Baba pulled his hand out, the flow would stop completely. Twirl after twirl brought down fresh showers of Vibhuti from the pot until the image was completely covered with the fragrant powder. The ash mounted to unexpected heights. Truly, during Shivaratri, Prashanti Nilayam, the abode of supreme peace, turned into Kailasa, the abode of Shiva himself.
In spirituality, a human being reaches an end point when all desires are burnt away. What remains then is purity. Vibhuti is thus the symbol of the ultimate purity that all humans must strive to achieve. Later, Swami personally distributed the Vibhuti to the devotees who had come to attend the Shivaratri festival.
Both Shirdi Sai Baba and Puttaparthi Sai Baba have given Vibhuti as medicine for even the most dreadful of diseases. Just by circling his hand in a very casual and elegant style, Shri Baba would materialize Vibhuti and give it to the people who needed it and also who deserved it. Many of the patients have recovered instantly from even deadly diseases after consuming this Vibhuti. Let's watch a miracle in connection with Vibhuti.
This doctor gentleman of the hospital comes to me and tells me he needs 100 Vibhuti packets. And he tells me that nowadays when patients come to us, they ask for Vibhuti. They don't ask for medicine. I told him whenever somebody goes to Puttaparthi, we'll try to organize. So he said, sir, please see if you can do something. That day, I went to the district court. As I was parking my car, I saw on the road berm some yellow shining papers, seemingly Vibhuti packets. Though they used to come in that yellow cellophane paper. When I locked my car, I went and I found Vibhuti packets spread over. packet was open. I tasted it. It was vibhuti. 99 packets and one open. So the 100 packets of vibhuti were there. I immediately rushed to my house, called the doctor and said, "Sir, you have your vibhuti." Retained few of them, was to use them as prasadam. One day I was talking to a friend of mine and he said, "Sir, please keep that vibhuti for me. Today evening I'll come and collect." In the evening he walks to my office and said, "My brother-in-law is the convener of Shimla Samiti. He was coming to Puttaparthi with 100 packets of vibhuti in a carton. He had kept it on the seat. So at 12 in the night he gets down at the bus station, give a call to his wife. When he came back to the bus, he found his carton missing. So a thief had taken it away. Whole journey from Chandigarh to Shimla, this gentleman was crying, "Baba, that some thief has taken it away. This prasadam will be now misused." But who knows that who was the thief? And he was to pick it up and position it at a place where I would reach. I'll park my car right there and I'll get that vibhuti. He has not left his habits of stealing right from Dwapara. So instead of butter, now he is stealing vibhuti.
3 days, first 5 days.
Baba's vibhuti pouring forth in brilliant stream, display of vibhuti. So spacious is its might, it grants liberation. Baba's vibhuti, its power protects me.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.